Welcome back to the show, you guys. Today, we've got another great real estate agent in our coaching program. With us today, we have Miss Char Baxter. Char, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
For sure, for sure. So, like we were kind of talking off air, what I'd like to do today, Char, is walk people through your journey so far in real estate and have them walk away being inspired to take more action, to do more, to become more, so that they can accomplish the goals that they've set. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So tell us, what market are you in and how long have you been selling real estate now?
I'm actually in Dallas, Fort Worth. I really don't work the Fort Worth area. I try to stay more local to Dallas because I stay close to downtown. And I have been licensed now for about a year and a half. I got my license in February of 2020.
Got
it. Exactly at a year and a half.
Awesome.
So I'm still a fairly new agent. Yeah.
And you started at a very strange time in the business due to the pandemic being essentially your entire first year in the business. You're also doing business in a pandemic. So that's probably pretty difficult. But let me ask you, what attracted you to want to get into real estate in the first place? Like, what were you doing before?
So my degree is actually in computer science. I was a data scientist. I still have a small contract that I'm doing because I did leave my full-time job in January. So what inspired me to get into real estate was that I actually purchased a home, my own home, my very first home. And it was a very tedious and almost like a really, really frustrating process for me. Even though I had a really good agent, just the whole transaction itself, buying a new home was very stressful. And so after I went through that, I was like, okay, I want to work with first-time home buyers and kind of help them through the process of purchasing a home. And so I was like, well, let me go get my license. And that's what I did. I started helping my family members and my friends. And that's how I got started.
Got it. I love it. I love it. So if you could remember back, it's only been a year and a half, but I'm always curious to really understand something that I find interesting, because I think people get into this industry for a lot of different reasons, but I'm always curious to find out, what did you think after you got into the business that maybe you didn't realize before you got into the business? Like, was there any big, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is what real estate's actually like. I thought it was like this.
Yeah. So you're really, you're running a business. Like you're setting up your own business. You are a true entrepreneur. So it's like, if you come from corporate or, if you've had a job before, there's someone that tells you what to do. You have a schedule. You go to meetings. Like me, I had deliverables, developments that I was doing and working on. You have certain deadlines that you have to meet, and everything is kind of set in stone for you. But when you come into real estate, I don't think what a lot of newer agents understand is that you are truly running a business. You're setting up a business and you are becoming an entrepreneur. And the second thing was, I thought that there were going to be a lot more resources that were actually handed to me, and more guidance, but it's like you actually have to seek those things out. You have to seek out mentors. You have to find resources, things like that. So I started doing a lot of YouTube, library, collections on YouTube. That's how I found you on YouTube. My first brokerage, they didn't give me anything at all because I was 100% commission. So it was just like, oh, you're hanging your license here and there you go. So I was really confused about how to get started. It wasn't until I came over to EXP that I started learning a lot more things about actually how to build a business.
Got it. I love it. And I think you nailed it. I think, unfortunately, a lot of, you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur as a real estate agent, but the vast majority of people that get into this business, Char, I think you'd agree, have never owned a business before, right? They've never owned a business before. They worked at a business where, to your point, everything was structured, everything was laid out. There was a system for everything. There was resources for everything, right? You had a tech team, you had an operations team, you had a support team, and you could call on these people to get your job done at the corporation. Well, being a real estate agent, you're the business owner. You're all the you're the support team,
Yeah.
the sales team, you're the marketing team, you're the tech team. You're everything. And so,
you're everything.
yeah. What I mean, I guess that's probably the advice you would give to somebody thinking about getting into real estate. But I always try to set good expectations for people that want to get in the industry, because do you think the industry sets people up for success getting in, or do you think there could be better expectations set up front?
No, they don't. I mean, to me, a lot of brokerages, and I would say newer agents, really do your research on brokerages, because a lot of them, to me, when you're first getting out of real estate school, they just want you to hang your license there, but they're not really there to really train you or coach you or mentor you. So really do your research, especially on the brokerages that you're interested in, and don't get caught up in the glam of it. I know you see like a lot of people with like fancy cars and things like that, but it takes time to get there. It's truly a business, and you're starting a business pretty much from scratch if you are a new agent. So just keep that in mind and give yourself time to grow and time to develop.
That's great advice. And I agree with you 100%. I run a brokerage as well as coach agents all over the country. And you're exactly right. I mean, when a new agent gets into the industry and they're talking to brokers, they have to really know what questions to ask, because what it seems to be is typically not the case after you get to a brokerage. Typically, you feel quite alone. You feel like you're on an island. You feel like, right? So you got to really understand the value that they're going to give you. And I think you'd agree with this, because you went from a 100% concept company to a commission split company. Commission splits is probably the lowest on the totem pole. I mean, because 100% of nothing is still nothing. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah. That's so, yeah. Because I was struggling my first 2 months. I was like, well, what did I do this for?
Yeah.
So I didn't know where to go, who to talk to. And you're right. I just felt like I was just kind of in this silo by myself, and everyone else was out here doing deals. And it was like I was receiving little information. I was asking questions.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't getting the answers that was helping me to actually build my business.
Got it. So tell me, like, when you got into business, what was your strategy, or at least your plan, to go out there and generate new revenue for your company, because you're a business owner? And what were some of those early struggles? And then we'll talk about what you're doing now.
So when I first got in, I was still working a full-time job. So at that time, I had came from an apartment, and so I watched a YouTube video on doing apartment leasing. And since I wasn't receiving a lot of information from my brokerage at that time, I actually started doing leases. And I started doing like apartment leasing and just rental homes and things like that, which was okay because I was part-time, but that really wasn't the reason I got into real estate. I wanted to help buyers at that time to actually learn the transaction of purchasing a house, but I didn't have that information at that time. So I just did what I knew how to do, which was the apartment leases. And I kind of got stuck there. I did that for about 6 to 8 months. And then, people that I knew from work and stuff, those were my only clients. So I had like leases from like Facebook. I would just post apartments. Or I would pass out flyers saying I was like an apartment specialist. And then I would hint it around at work. And then I had a few friends and some of my colleagues that would actually purchase a home from me. So I did a couple of transactions, but I mean, I really wanted to build a business, and that's just not the way that I couldn't survive off of that just from doing leases and a couple of purchases here or there. So,
yeah. And I think that, unfortunately, I think most of the people in this industry, I operate just kind of that way. You know, they're waiting for business to fall in their lap. They're waiting for friends and family to call them. And that only produces, to your point, a couple of deals a year. And it's not enough to build a business and certainly not a career. So what are you doing now to go out there proactively and go find business? Because that's what everybody wants to know is like, what's the lead generation strategy that's working for you to go out there and build a business?
So before I was, I guess you could say, a marketer, I really didn't do like any actual prospecting or anything like that. I would just, hand out business cards to people that I knew because that's what I was comfortable with. And after I found this, like I knew that at the beginning of the year, I wanted to change my business because in order for me to be full-time in real estate, I wasn't going to be able to just do apartment leases and a couple of transactions. Like I was going to starve.
Yeah.
To pretty much, like start on the bottom again as far as a salary. So I really wanted to be, and I really want to be a great agent. And I saw that the way that the market was going, and a lot of the buyers, even the few buyers that I was working with at that time, they weren't getting into homes because of the multiple offer situation. So it was like from the January till about March, when I was doing a lot of research, and I was like, I got to make a change. And I saw your YouTube. I watched it probably 10 times. I went over the students and I saw people who kind of had a similar background like me, where they were converting from like an industry or, I consider myself an introvert. I saw a couple of introverts. I saw one guy who just did the mailings and things like that. And I was like, okay, this is a program that I can follow. This, he has a process and I can learn if there's a process that is provided. So to answer your question, now I do the FSBOs. I do work the FSBOs. I go to open houses every single weekend. Like I get in my car and I drive to the open houses and I put the marketing material in there that you showed us in the program. And I find the open houses by means of Zillow. And also I go on forsalebyowner.com. And if I don't have enough open houses to go to in that weekend, then I will message people. I'll text them like on forsalebyowner.com or I'll send a video text to them on Zillow. And I'm usually getting about 5 to 6 FSBO appointments per week. And I knock them all out. Yeah, I knock them all out on the weekends, either Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Because again, I'm on a contract because I panicked. So I left my full-time job, but I picked up an IT contract because I panicked because I didn't see any movement happening. But then once this contract is over, I do plan on being a full-time agent. So, I just drive around. Like I'm really not on the phones really heavy. Yeah, I do practice the scripts and everything like that. But to me, if I'm in front of someone and I can engage with that person, I can more easily convert them versus me just calling someone on the phone. So I would just rather just be there, give them that material, check out their house, and then follow up with them afterwards. And usually from that, I get about 2 or 3 people that will call me back and say, hey, Char, we want to meet with you.
I love it. And I love the approach. And I agree with you 100%. It's like, if you can just get face-to-face with somebody, either visiting them at an open house or door knocking, or sending them a video text message, like I know you're having a lot of success with, it's a very different approach. It's a lot easier to connect with people through that approach. And I think that's where you're finding the majority of your success versus, to your point, maybe picking up the phone right this second and they don't know who you are. They can't put a face with the name. There's no personality behind the voice, right? So that's what you're doing now to go out there and generate listings, which is great because it's putting you on the offense. It's allowing Char every week to take action and go out there and find business versus kind of waiting for someone to contact you. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm very active in that. If I don't do the phone calls, which I'm getting better because I'm pushing myself, but if I don't do the phone calls during the week, then I make sure I'm out of my house at 9:30 on Saturdays. Like I stopped going to brunch. I stopped my weekend shopping. Like I blocked out time every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now to like get my open houses done or to get my preview appointments done on the weekends.
I love that.
I do not miss those for any reason. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. So how many are you just working for sale by owners, your sphere of influence? Are there any other lead sources that you're working right now?
So this is my third month in the program. So I was really working the FISBO open houses. I just watched the Sphere of Influence training, so I'm going to start implementing that now into my action program. And now I've actually started to contact absentee owners. So I do call absentee owners during the week. I'm not doing like 2-3 hours a day, but I try to call them like an hour a day, the absentee owners that I did get from the share group, which is close to me. So I have a list of about 2,000 right now that I'm going through. So those are pretty much my three. And then I also started texting or messaging people on Facebook. That's part of my spirit too. So if you're my friend on Facebook, then you will get a message from me about real estate. So I started to engage more with just the people that I knew were already my friends.
Good for you. I mean, the reason why I'm so excited, the reason I wanted to do this was because you're being proactive, and that inspires me because for so many people, Char, and I know you know some other agents in the business too, they will not proactively and reach out to people that they know or reach out to people they don't know and prospect for new business. They literally just wait for business to happen. And so my question for you is, do you think a real estate agent, Char, whether new in the business or experienced, has any chance at making it in this industry if they just sit back and wait and maybe do some marketing or advertising? Or do you think it's absolutely a must for them to proactively go out there on the offensive and prospect for new business?
You have to prospect. See, when I first got into the business, I was thinking, oh, I can just run ads and I can just talk to people at work, the few that I knew, and then people will start referring me. And, you know, especially during this time of COVID, the time that we're going through right now, it's even more important for you to actually really go out there and get business. Because when you think about any other business, whether it's your favorite shoe like Nike or, you know, Chipotle, all those businesses are marketing. And so if you are a business, then you have to market, and you actually have to go and prospect for your customers and for your clients. And that's what I didn't understand. And that's what I was missing as far as the knowledge that was handed to me. Was all these, I guess, shiny objects that were thrown at me, but no one was really telling me, hey, Char, like, you got to go out there and get it, and this is how you do it, and this is the system that will actually work to get you the clients that you're looking for to help you build your business.
Well said.
So you definitely have to go after it. If you're not comfortable on the phones, then like I'm truly not comfortable, and I can honestly say that because I know there's people out there like me, then find another way to get in front of people.
Love it.
Do it consistently.
Yep, it's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, you have to be consistent and you have to play offense. Let me ask you this. You know, there's so many people, marketers or advertisers out there selling shiny objects to agents, telling them, Char, you don't have to prospect. You can do this little thing over here and all the business will come into you and you can sit back and wait for it to come in. Do you think there's any truth to that? Or what advice would you give to people before they start buying and getting distracted with all the shiny objects out there?
There might be some truth to it, but it may be like the slow wheel. You know what I mean? Like if you run Facebook ads, you're not really in control of the people that are coming to you. That's what I was doing. I was running Facebook ads for apartments, and I would get some people that were interested, and then I would get others who just happened to click on the ad because they like the pool. Yeah. So, you know, if you're doing a lot of YouTubing, you're going to get people that are in, but you know, you have a whole population of people that are watching. So it just may be like the 1% that are actually interested in buying or selling a house. But I think what your program teaches and what I enjoy about it so much is that you're able to control, you know, who you're actually prospecting to. Just like we have our different pillars, like the for sale by owners or the absentees or sphere, or you have assisted living, you have probates. So there's a lot of different prospects that you can kind of target. And then there's a process for each one of those. And that's what I love about it so much. And specifically for the for sale by owners, I mean, there's different ways that we're communicating with them. So we have the phone, you have a text script, you have the open house. And then it's like you have emails. So it's a lot of different ways too that you can also reach these customers as well. And you're able to actually, select who you want your message to go to. Like, I don't send my message to, everyone, especially people that are like 2 hours away or 3 hours away or things like that. So it's like, I'm targeting certain zip codes, I'm targeting certain types of homes, and things like that.
Yeah, I love it. And that's the great thing about having a prospecting business plan versus an advertising business plan. You can really hone in your focus and your efforts around a specific targeted prospect versus like the shotgun approach, right? It's like you throw out some Facebook ads or some Google ads and you hope the right people see them. So let me ask you this. What is your goal for the rest of 2021 going into 2022? Now that you've kind of getting some more experience, you're starting to learn a process of lead generation that puts you in control of your destiny. What do you think is possible for you and what are your future goals?
So let me tell you guys, I am 100% focused on listings. I no longer do rentals. If I do get a buyer, it comes solely from me having a listing because I want to be a rock star listing agent. I will be a rock star listing agent, that's for sure. So finishing out the rest of this year, I have 3. So my goal was to have 10 while I was in for 2021. So I'm trying to get 7 more before we hit 2022 so that next year I can just purely be full-time real estate and be that rock star listing agent that I want to do. So next year, my honest goal is to hit 30 to 40. And I believe that I can do that because that's the commission base that I will actually need to, replace my full-time income is to hit 30.
Good for you. How exciting. And I know you can do it because
I believe
you're doing the things right now. It's just about building that pipeline now and building more confidence, building more experience, building your skills, and all of those things will happen for you. So last question before I let you go, what advice would you give to somebody watching this? They're working full-time. They want to get into real estate. They're very scared. They're very nervous. What do you think you would say to that person to help them get into the industry and succeed like you are?
You have to have a plan. You have to have a really good mentor. This program really works for me because, like I said, I come from a technical background, and I like having processes in place and that I can implement and that I can follow, and then also that I can tweak. So whatever you're learning or your communication style is, it will fit that. And then, you have to really believe in yourself and you have to be yourself. I think that's the most important thing is sometimes we want to leave, whoever we were in the past behind us, but it's like, bring that person with you. Like me, I'm really detailed when it comes to like numbers and things like that. So I'm learning the sales part, but I can explain a CMA like that, or I can tell you the market like that because, I come from a data. So I brought that with me, and that's actually what helps me. And that's what people love. And I'm very, flamboyant, I bring the colors. I just don't dress in like the black and white, so I bring my personality in everything that I do. So be yourself and don't try to do everything at once because you're going to constantly learn and it's a learning cycle. But if you could just get one thing down and just do that one thing consistently. So if you're going to do the phones every day. If you're going to send out cards, send them out every day. If you're going to send out emails, send them out every day. If you're going to message on Facebook, do it every day. I do open houses every single weekend. I am not going to miss an open house to go shopping anymore. Like I'm online now because I have to make it to my open houses. So just be consistent and just give yourself time to learn, time to grow, because it is a business and it takes time to build a business, and don't compare yourself to anyone else because everyone has their own journey.
Great advice. I mean, you just gave so many golden nuggets in that last 60 to 90-second segment. Go back, rewind it, watch that part, you guys. Watch that part over and over and over again, because Char's lived it, and success leaves clues. She's walked before you. So that's the reason, Char, I like doing these interviews, is because people watching can benefit from your pain, right? That's why we do this. People benefit from the pain that I've been through for the last 17 years. And so thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be working with you, watching you grow, watching you succeed. I really want to thank you for doing this, because so many people get so much value from these. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, I had a great time.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Everyone, just continue to grow. You guys can do it. I mean that from my heart. So whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Oh, that's awesome. We appreciate that, Char. Have an awesome, awesome week. And I'm sure I'll see you on our coaching calls very soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.